All right. Well, here we are. I think I told this thing to start, and it will start. It's kind of weird because I was like coming on live and in person for Family Home Church, but that's how my computer is, people. I need another computer. I just messaged myself. Anyways, here we are, Family Home Church, and yes, it's just Judges 9 tonight. Judges 9 is a little bit longer. It's for most of Judges, it would be comparable to being about 2 chapters, almost 2 chapters. That's why we're just doing it. Plus, there's an even amount of number judges, an even amount. So that's why I did it for we're dying because 9 was the longest one. Then Amalek, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his mother's brother and spoke with them and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, "Please speak in the hearing of my man of all the men of Shechem, which is better for you than all 70 of the sons of Jerubbaal reign over you, or that one reigned over you. Remember that I am your own flesh and bone." And his mother's brother spoke all these words concerning him in the hearing of the men of Shechem. And their heart was inclined to follow Amalek, for they said, "He is our brother." So they gave him 70 shekels of silver from the temple of Baal Berith, with what Amalek hired worthless and reckless men, and they followed him. Then he went to his father's house, and I thought I had these clean, but it's just really scratched up. I think that's what the problem is. It's about as good as going to get. I need new glasses too. His brother spoke concerning him, temple men followed him. Then they went to his father's house in Ophrah, and killed his brothers. Then 70 sons of Jerubbaal on one stone. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left because he hid himself. And all the men of Shechem gathered together, all of Beth Malo, and they went to and made Amalek king beside the terebinth tree and at the pillar of Shechem. Now, when they had told Jotham, he went to stood up on Mount Gerizim and lifted up his voice and cried out, and he said to them, "Listen to me, you men of Shechem, that God may listen to you. The trees once went forth to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive tree, 'Reign over us.' But the olive tree said to them, 'Should I cease giving my oil, with which they honor God and men, and give to sway over trees?' Then the tree said to the fig tree, 'You come and reign over us.' But the fig tree said to them, 'Should I cease my sweetness of my good fruit and go sway over trees?'" Dadgummit. Accidentally clicked something and it went flying over to another page. Now, I personally have had figs, and it's weird. I don't really care for them, but fig Newtons I like. But I don't like figs themselves. My wife likes figs, though. We had a fig tree out here, but I cut it down because it kept on getting in the way. Truthfully, that's the whole reason we had to cut it down. I wish I could have dug it up and buried it somewhere else. Then the trees said to the vine, "You come and reign over us." But the vine said to them, "Should I cease my new wine, which cheers both God and men, and go to sway over trees?" Then the trees said to the bramble, "You come reign over us." But the bramble said to the trees, "Computer, please do what I'm asking you to do." Bramble said to the trees, "If in truth you anoint me as king over you, then come and take shelter in my shade. But if not, let come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now, tell you what bramble is. Maybe not, because my computer doesn't want to do what I'm asking it to do, which is look up the word bramble, which should take that quick of a time because my internet's going that fast. But my computer, on the other hand, is not. Uh-oh. I hope that doesn't mean I lost my internet. I think I just lost my internet because it's not coming up. It looks like we're still going, so we're going to keep on going. And I don't know why my search is not searching for bramble. It's a cup of berry, apparently. Here we go. And when I put bramble, it's showing images of black raspberry, those black and red raspberries, or blackberries and raspberries. And it's showing me liquor. So I'm assuming blackberries, raspberries, and dewberries. That's what a bramble is. So in other words, they went from a mighty tree called the mighty tree of the olive tree being one of the strongest of the trees, I guess, to a fig tree, to grapes, vine, to the bramble, which is the blackberries, the raspberries that we say. I love those fruits. Those are so good. Now, therefore, if you act in truth and sincerity and make it Amalek king, and if you have dwelt well with Jerubbaal at his house, and have done to him as he deserves. For my father fought for you, risked his life, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian. But you have risen up against my father's house this day, and killed his 70 sons on one stone, and made Amalek the son of his female servant king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If then you have acted truth and sincerity, and sincerity with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice in Amalek, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come from Amalek and devour the men of Shechem and Beth Malo, and let fire come from the men of Shechem and from Beth Malo, and devour Amalek. And Jotham ran away and fled, and he went to Beer, and dwelt there, and for fear Amalek his brother. So in other words, he's saying that Amalek is like the bramble, not worthy enough to be a ruler over them, because the olive tree was the one that they picked first, and the trees did, and bramble is just bush, it's just vines. Why would the trees pick that? That's what he's trying to say. They're not worthy to be the tree's servants. They're not worthy to be the king of the trees. That's what he's saying that Amalek is. He's not worthy to be the king of them. After Amalek had reigned over Israel 3 years, God sent a spirit of ill will between Amalek and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dwelt treacherously with Amalek, that in crime done of the 70 of Jerubbaal might have settled with their blood be led on Amalek, their brother, who killed them, and on the men of Shechem, who aided the killing of his brothers. And then Mech and the men of Shechem set the men in ambush against him on the tops of the mountains, and they robbed all who passed by them along the way. And it was told Amalek. Now Gaal, the son of Ebed came with his brothers and went to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him. So they went and gathered grapes from the vineyards and trod them and made merry. In other words, they took the grapes, made them into wine, drank, and got drunk. And they went into the house of their God and ate and drank and cursed Amalek. Then Gaal the son of Ebed said, "Who is Amalek and who is Shechem that we serve him? Is it not the son of Jerubbaal and is not Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem, but why should we serve him?" Oh, my back. If anyone, if only this people were under my authority, then I would remove Amalek. So he said to Amalek, "Increase your army and come out." This is like a soap opera, man. I'm telling you. People understand that you can get a better soap opera by reading the Bible than you can by watching the soap operas on. Do they even do soap operas anymore? when now we have Big Brother and the Bachelor, and those are the soap operas for today. Then not Zebulun. Then Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, or how you say his name, Gaal, the son of Ebed. His anger was aroused, and he sent messengers to Amalek secretly, saying, "Take note, Gaal, the son of Ebed, and his brothers have come to Shechem, and they are fortifying the city against you. Now therefore get up by night, you and your people who are with you, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be as soon as the sun is up in the morning that you shall rise early and rush upon the city. And when he and the people who are in with him come out against you, you may then do to them as you find opportunity." So Amalek and the people who were with him rose by night and laid in wait against Shechem and the four companies. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, went out and stood in the entrance of the city gates. Amalek and people who were with him rose from lying in wait. And Gaal saw the people. He said to Zebul, "Look, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains." But Zebul said to him, "You see the shadows of the mountains as if they were men." He didn't believe them. He thought they were just shadows. Dude, that ain't people. That's just shadows. That's just sun's going down or sun's coming up, whatever he saw at the time. And he just, it's just shadows. It's just the shadows. So Gaal spoke again and said, "See, people are coming down from the center of the land, and another company is coming from the viner's terebinth tree." And my computer just jumped somewhere else, and I don't know why it did that. Then Zebul said to him, "Where indeed is your mouth now, with which you said, 'Who is Amalek, that we should serve him?' Are not these the people who you despise? Go out, if you will, and fight with them now." So Gaal went out, leading the men of Shechem, and fought with Amalek. But Amalek chased him, and he fled from him, and many fell wounded in the very entrance to the very entrance of the gate. Then Amalek dwelt in Arumah, and Zebul drove out Gaal and his brothers so that they would not dwell in Shechem. And it came about on the next day that the people went out into the fields, and they told Amalek. So he took his people, divided them into three companies, and laid in wait in the field. And there were people coming out of the city, and he rose again them and attacked them. Then Amalek and the company that was with him rushed forward and stood in the entrance at the gate of the city, and the other two companies rushed upon all who were in the fields and killed them. So Amalek fought against the city all the day. He took the city and killed the people who were in it, and he demolished the city and sowed it with salt. In other words, he busted it so badly that it just became like fine, like salt. That's a pretty bad beating on concrete and brick and mortar. To powder it down and destroy the city so badly that it becomes like salt. Now, when all the men of the tower of Shechem had heard it, they entered the stronghold of the temple of the god Berith. And it was told to Amalek that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. Excuse me. Then Amalek went on the Mount Zalman, he and all the people who were with him. And were with him. And Amalek took an axe at his hand and cut down and about the trees and took it on his shoulders. Then he said to the people who were with him, "What you have seen me make haste, and I do as I have done, and do as I have done." So each of the people likewise cut down his own bow and followed Amalek, put them against the stronghold, and set the stronghold on fire above them, so that all the people in the of Shechem died, about 1,000 men and women. It's a pretty good sized tower to have that many people in it. Must be pretty big. Then Amalek went to Thebes, and he encamped against Thebes and took it. But there was a strong tower in the city, and all the men and women and all the people of the city fled there and shut themselves in. Then they went up to the top of the tower. They only knew what he already did with the other people of the other tower. They would have went to that tower. They would have fled somewhere else. So Amalek came as far as the tower and fought against it. And he drew near the door of the tower to burn it with fire. But a certain woman dropped an upper millstone on Amalek's head and crushed his skull. Then he called quickly to the young man, his arm bearer, and said to him, "Draw your sword and kill me, lest men say of me, a woman killed me." So his young brother thrust him through, and he died. And when the men of Israel saw that Amalek was dead, they departed, every man to his place. So since he was dead, they didn't have no reason to fight. He was their boss, he was their king. Once he died, they were like, "What are we fighting for?" Thus God repaid the wickedness of Amalek, which he had done to his father by killing his 70 brothers, and all the evil of the men of Shechem God returned on their own heads, and on them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal. Now we think about this. It was a woman who took. Do you guys know what a millstone? I taught you guys what a millstone is. Now, millstone, there's different sizes of millstones. Remember Pirates, the first movie? And he's inside that thing, and he hits that donkey, and the donkey starts walking around, and you see that big old stone. I don't know if you remember seeing the stone or not. It was probably about this big around, that millstone. And it was for, I don't know what he used it for in that movie. But a millstone could be as big as this room, as round and big as this room for whatever it's used for, or about this size. That was probably the average size. So she wouldn't be able to pick it up. So it must have been sitting like the window, and all she did was push it. That's what I would think. Because even a strong man would have a hard time, because a millstone was made out of literal like granite, hard, solid piece, and they would chisel it until it became round, almost smooth and rounded, usually about this thick, sometimes even thicker. So either God gave her supernatural strength for a moment, or like supernatural strength for a moment, or it was like sitting where she could just push it, because you could roll it easily. It wasn't hard to roll, just hard to pick up because it's so heavy. And it landed on him and killed him. And he didn't quite die, but he was on the verge of death anyways. So let someone else kill him. Now, there's more of these stories coming. I like reading these things, because then you can read it just like a soap opera. Now, tomorrow is chapter 10 and 11. We'll be going even and odd instead of odd and even for a while, and then we'll get back into then we'll stay with even and odds for the rest of the time, because 10 and 11 is actually shorter than what we just read. Well, Like, share, subscribe. God bless you all. We'll see you next time. Any questions or answers or anything needed, prayer request, just there's my question mark. How do I do that? There's my question. There's my question box. I haven't had any questions put in my question box. I'm going to start putting, every time I get a question, I'm going to put it in that question box and answer them. So start asking. God bless y'all. We'll see you next time.